Thursday, NCAA softball, a matinee special live from Provo, Utah. This is the Big 12 on ESPN at the base of the Wasatch Mountains. Iowa State in town to take on the BYU Cougars, the Cyclones. Nice season, 25-17, 5-10 in conference play, and looking for the always important Game 1 win against the resurgent BYU team who has worked their way back up to an identical conference record. I am Spencer Linton. She is Taylor Williams. Wherever and however you're connected, great to have you with us. Needless to say, that logjam at the back half of conference has created some added intrigue in Big 12 softball. A half game separates places 7 through 10 and then a three-way tie for 8. So, Taylor, when there's so much on the line, and especially at the beginning of the series, what do you expect from both of these teams on Thursday?
Oh, I really think they're going to come out just firing on all elements. BYU is going to really want to keep up the offense. They've been having 40 runs in just the last 4 games that they've played. Crazy numbers from them, and it's going to be a fun series to watch.
And it'll be tougher pitching that BYU faces compared to the Houston series. They saw this Iowa State bullpen doing a pretty nice job. And, frankly, they've got some hitting as well. Led by Reagan Bartholomew, the Cyclone shortstop, having a dynamite season. She's batting a cool .434, but how about the power element with 12 home runs as well?
And she also leads her team in that on-base percentage and hits with 56 on the season. Very patient hitter at the plate, but brings power with those doubles and home run numbers like you talked about. And overall, just a very consistent hitter for Iowa State, looking for big things from her this weekend.
We use the word resurgent to explain what BYU has done recently, and Maddie Udall-Woolley has been a pleasant surprise with her own individual resurgence. She, too, is finding her stroke at the plate against Houston and most recently against Utah Tech.
Yeah, just this Tuesday, she was 3 for 4, had 2 home runs and 3 RBIs. She has 4 total home runs on the season, and 3 of them have come in just the last week. She is bringing a hot bat and her senior experience at a crucial point in BYU's season. It's been fun to watch her.
She's enjoying home cooking as BYU continues 15 consecutive games in the Beehive State, 12 of those on their home field. Pitch number 1 and the starting lineups right after this. This is the Big 12 on ESPN. Welcome back to our Thursday matinee of Big 12 softball. Iowa State and BYU ready for game number 1. There is the starting lineup for the Cyclones. They'll be led off by the left fielder Jesse Clemens, center fielder Tatum Johnson after that, and our impact performer Reagan Bartholomew with that .434 average. Caden Shepard, the second baseman, will bat cleanup. Ford, Malott, Poole, Nosen, and Andrews round out the batting order for the Cyclones. On the BYU side, Gianna Mares gets the nod in the circle for BYU. Had a fantastic series against Houston. The junior with a 7.08 earned run average has been through it, especially in the early part of Big 12 play, but it feels starting to find a rhythm as the left-hander delivers pitch number 1 to Clemens, and it is in there for a strike. Mares 6-8 as the pitcher of record, 92 strikeouts, 83 walks, and is battling through her own nicks and bruises, an injury, a stress fracture on her plant foot. It hasn't shown recently, Taylor, and you have to wonder, maybe the staff figured something out. Certainly confidence and the mentality has played into Mares' ascension in that Houston series.
Yeah, she absolutely did a fantastic job. And like you said, it didn't really seem that the foot was bothering her at all. Something about her is I feel like she gets stronger a lot of the times when she's in games. The longer she's left in, the better she throws. And we have seen so many strikeout putouts from her. It's really impressive. She, in 93 innings of work, has 92 strikeouts. She gets about 1 strikeout per inning.
A foul tip into the glove of Ilovea Brittingham, and it's a strikeout to begin for Gianna Mares. Down goes Jessie Clemens swinging. As you see Clemens just behind it, and now Tatum Johnson will try and deliver some offense for Iowa State. The senior out of Chino Hills, California, swinging at the first pitch, and that's fouled back for a strike. The Cyclones 25-17. Again, the identical 5-10 Big 12 record. Like BYU, it is such a top-heavy conference, and these teams have seen some fantastic competition. Texas Tech, Arizona, Oklahoma State. There are no days off in Big 12 softball.
Yep. Makes it so fun to watch, though.
1-1 with 1 down, and the base is empty here in the top of the first. Mares facing Johnson. Change up, hit well. Handled at second base by Acosta after the initial knockdown and bobble, and she throws out Johnson at first base. There are 2 down.
Now batting number 24, Reagan Bartholomew.
And here's your first look in this series at the fantastic Reagan Bartholomew. Such a weapon. And delivers a high fly ball deep to left field. Take a good look, you won't see it for long. Home run for Reagan Bartholomew, 1-0 Iowa State. Her 13th home run of the season.
And that was a first pitch, no doubt, home run. A little bit up in the zone, but just right there for her to really drive that ball. BYU got those quick first 2 outs, but now down a run.
Bartholomew's average will go up a few points as she adds another home run to her already stellar season resume. And now Mares has to deal with Caden Shepard, who has 11 home runs of her own. In fact, the number 2, 3, and 4 batters for Iowa State in today's lineup have combined for 34 home runs now. Tatum Johnson with 10, Bartholomew with the 13th you just saw moments ago, and Shepard now with her 11. Strike 1 delivered from Mares, and now strike 2 on the foul tip. So a little bit of a hiccup there for Mares, leaving a ball, as you mentioned, Taylor, up in the zone in just a delicious visual for a hitter of Bartholomew's caliber.
And she's definitely going to have to be careful of that as she works through those first, that meat of the lineup for Iowa State, because like you said, all those home runs that they've been hitting, she's really going to have to focus on hitting good spots as well as getting ahead in counts.
The 0-2 with 2 down. Base is empty, but the solo home run across here in the top of the first. Mares outside for ball 1. Shepard, just a sophomore, batting .283 on the season. And takes ball 2 well out of the zone. On the ground, Acosta should have no issue with that. Throw over to Udall-Woolley at first. And BYU heads to the dugout to prepare for their first offensive opportunity today against the Cyclones and their ace, Lauren Skierman. 1-0 Iowa State.
These days, there's so much to do and not enough time, even for the things that matter most. Well, at Deseret Book, we want to give you resources that help make the most of your time. That's why Deseret Bookshelf Plus gives you unlimited access to Deseret Book's entire audiobook library. So you can listen to Insights from a Prophet's Life while you cook, The Second Coming of the Lord while you drive. You can even get Come Follow Me insights while you exercise, ensuring that you always have time for what matters most.
When you see a guy that has had as much written about him, I think it's easy to just make it about AJ. And the thing I love about him is he empowers other people.
He's not giving away sneakers, hats, shirt, t-shirt, name it.
When you see these charities he does, like with AJ, he's deep in the weeds. He cares about that stuff.
Everything we do at BYU begins and ends with our students in mind. The most important work we do is building our students spiritually and intellectually. Strengthening each student's faith and testimony in Jesus Christ has always been a part of BYU's mission. You've entered to learn. Now go forward to serve.
There is the starting lineup for the BYU Cougars, who will be led off by Danica Acosta. Lily Owens, the left fielder, batting second. Haley Schuler, your designated player, batting third. And red-hot Maddie Udall-Woolley. 2 home runs in the win over Utah Tech on Tuesday in that cleanup spot. And watch out for surging Elovea Brittingham, who has seemingly figured some things out after that perceived sophomore slump slowed her numbers in Big 12 play especially. Here is Lauren Skierman, the senior, veteran leader in the circle for Iowa State, making her 16th start, 3.74 earned run average. She has been a workhorse, Taylor, 110 1/3 innings pitched, 64 strikeouts, 54 walks, and delivers to Acosta. Ball 1 to BYU's leadoff batter. Iowa State with a 1-0 lead thanks to that solo home run from Reagan Bartholomew. Acosta holds back, and it's ball 2. Skierman 14-5 on the season as the pitcher of record. Got a fantastic defense playing behind her, and has been a huge part of why the Cyclones at this juncture are 8 games above 500. They're hoping for a big finish in Big 12 play to try and put together a resume that is appealing for the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee. 4 pitches, 4 balls, and a leadoff walk for the sophomore Danica Acosta.
Huge for BYU getting going in this game, as they're already down a run. Any runner on is really going to benefit them. You wonder if Lily Owens, with her speed, if BYU is going to attempt to bunt and try to move Danica Acosta over to second base and in scoring position.
Owens takes the first strike thrown in this game by Skierman. And delivers quickly, strike 2, as Owens stares at that one cross over the zone. So Owens in protect mode now, with Acosta on first base after that leadoff walk.
And Owens has a really big 5-6 hole open right now. Bartholomew is really over there tight to second base.
Oh, and that's going to get through the gap between shortstop and third base. A break for BYU as Andrews was not able to get in front of it, and then it skipped off the top of the glove of Bartholomew and into left field.
And I think if Bartholomew is more in her straight-up position, she would have easily handled that ball, but because of the runner on first, she was shifted over tighter towards second base, allowing that one to poke through.
So BYU now with runners on first and second and no outs, and the bunt attempt from Haley Schuler is pushed into foul territory for strike one. And to nobody's surprise, Gordon Eakin opting to try and advance both of those base runners into scoring position. There is Coach Eakin. Giving his instructions to Schuler, the designated player. Wouldn't be surprised to see her pitching some significant and important innings at some point. Very much a versatile utility player for this BYU side. Another bunt attempt goes foul. It's 0-2. So now things shift a little bit, Taylor.
Absolutely. She no longer has that opportunity at the bunt, so she's really going to have to work to go get a nice hit for BYU and advance those runners that way.
Change up, misses just outside from Skierman. Schuler batting .325 this season, trying to advance the runners, and takes a ball inside. It's 2-2. Schuler tied for the team high with 37 hits. The 2-2 is fouled off back to the right side. The count remains the same. Acosta on second and Lily Owens on first.
And just looking at Skierman's numbers, I mean, she's not a big strikeout pitcher. Even with this count that Haley Schuler has worked herself into, I don't think BYU is going to be overpowered by the strikeout in today's matchup.
Another 2-2. A rise ball is high. We have a full count. Big pitch forthcoming for Lauren Skierman to Haley Schuler. Payoff. That one back onto the awning at Miller Park that separates the softball field from the baseball field, where later today BYU baseball will open a series against Arizona State in game one. That one set to begin in about 42 minutes. Payoff number 2 inside, and it is a walk to load the bases.
And a great at bat by Haley Schuler. Doesn't get the bunt down in those first few pitches, but battles all the way back and draws that huge walk.
Schuler draws her 17th walk of the season. No outs, bases full of BYU Cougars, and Maddie Udall-Woolley coming to the plate. We talked about what she's done in her recent performances against Houston and notably against Utah Tech. She hit 2 home runs in a 9-6 BYU win over the Trailblazers in a non-conference showdown here at Miller Park on Tuesday. She has improved her batting average to .293, 4 home runs, and batting cleanup with the bases loaded here in the bottom of the first. Takes a good cut, hits a moon ball, which should be playable for Bartholomew, and the catch is made. A big out for Lauren Skierman.
And not a bad swing from Maddie Udall-Woolley. She really came and attacked that pitch, but was just underneath it. Like you said, a moon ball. That ball was hit so high. But Iowa State able to make a good catch on it and get themselves another out.
Well, Skierman won't relax because here comes Ilovea Brittingham. And jammed inside, but foul for strike one. Brittingham found her mojo in the 3-game sweep of the Houston Cougars last weekend for BYU, including 3 home runs in that series. And likes what she sees on the rise ball from Skierman, but it's fouled back. So credit to Skierman bearing down here in the heart of the order. Got Udall Woolley in the cleanup spot to hit a high pop out to short. And now trying to handle Ilovea Brittingham, all Big 12 preseason team member, the 0-2. And that is hit to center field deep. And caught at the wall. Bring it back. Wow, what a catch by Tatum Johnson. BYU scores a run on the tag, but the play of the sequence is the grand slam robbing catch in center field by Johnson.
And off the bat, I thought that ball was definitely going to make it out of here, but like you said, an amazing catch out there in center field. Went from potentially 4 runs for BYU to just the 1.
1-1. And what a start to this game. Home run from Reagan Bartholomew to get Iowa State on the board, and about 1 foot away from a grand slam for BYU to try and answer, but Tatum Johnson brings it back. BYU manufactures the run with the bases loaded on the tag up, but wow. Rita Tavita with 2 down. Runners still on first and second for BYU, but behind in the count, 0-2. And she hits it to the right side. That's going to get through the gap. BYU will plate at least 1 more as Lily Owens slides in. Ball gets away on the throw. Runners are going to advance. Schuler to third, Tavita to second. And a misfire on the throw in from Iowa State. BYU takes the lead 2-1, and the Cougars are looking for more.
And off the bat, I thought Iowa State was going to be able to pick up that ball, but second baseman Shepard was clear over to take the throw at second base in case there was going to be a stolen base attempt. And then not even ready was Bartholomew at shortstop for the throw. BYU taking good advantage of that opportunity they had right there.
BYU in front, 2-1. On the 2-out RBI single from Rita Tavita. The error on the throw in, it allows the runners to advance to second and third, as Bree Townsend, who's getting the start at third base for BYU today, takes strike 1 from Skierman. This game is all of 23 minutes old, and it is not disappointed in the entertainment category.
Yes.
Two balls and a strike to Townsend. And Townsend, fly ball, right field. Poole makes the catch, and BYU will strand 2 as the runners on second and third go begging, but BYU does answer back with 2 in the bottom half of the first. Game 1, Iowa State, BYU. Don't go anywhere. into the second inning at Miller Park at Gale Miller Field. It is Thursday. Big 12 softball on ESPN. Jamie Pinkerton, in his 9th season at Iowa State, has his squad 8 games above 500, and some major concern for BYU here as Ilovea Brittingham behind home plate was taking warm-up pitches from Gianna Matez, and it looked like she reached up, that she just strained something potentially in her shoulder, which is a huge development potentially for BYU, given what she has done for the Cougars recently. And I mean, the way that she's holding that arm, this could be something significant, Taylor.
Yeah.
Strange, and just kind of a fluky play.
Yeah, I was expecting something more than that to have happened, but sometimes you put your arm up just right and it can really get you. It looked routine almost, the catch.
And this is a BYU team that has already been so beleaguered and marred with injury. I mean, the bench is so short for Gordon Eakin already. We're talking about your top 2 pitchers out, unavailable for essentially the entirety of the season.
Yeah.
They've already, and Ilovea Brittingham is the backup catcher. Like
Yes.
This is not where she usually plays. So BYU is now looking at the potential of a 3rd-string catcher having to go behind home plate because Haley Morrow is not available.
Yeah.
She's had some time behind the plate. But Kaya Fabella was the starter. She's got a broken foot. It's just almost laughable at what BYU has dealt with injury-wise to such key positions and key players this season.
Yeah. And it really would be devastating for BYU the way she's hitting right now, Ilovea Brittingham, to have to go out of this game. I think they have Bree Townsend, who was supposed to play 3rd base today, gearing up in case she is not able to continue.
And BYU has rotated at 3rd base with Miranda Mansfield and Bree Townsend, but it might be duty calls for Mansfield and Townsend going to catch behind home plate. I think this is the smart move. Let's just take a closer look at what Brittingham is dealing with right now, because obviously if it is minor and you can handle it and prevent it from getting worse, BYU's best case is she can come back in this game or at least be available at some point for this series, certainly down the critical stretch, because she is BYU's best player and the most dynamic.
And especially if it's the motion up with her arm that's bothering her, she still may be able to swing a bat, and you want her in the lineup, so better to move her out of that catcher position and just try and keep her as healthy as they can.
So an unexpected twist and an unfortunate one just for the integrity and the talent of this series. I mean, if we're thinking about this on the Iowa State side, it's like if Reagan Bartholomew were taken out of this game.
Yeah.
That is what BYU is losing, that caliber of player in Brittingham, who again is all Big 12 preseason team member, set records for BYU last season as a freshman, home runs and RBIs.
And if you're BYU, you hope it doesn't sway your momentum. I mean, they just came off of taking the lead with 2 runs just barely, kind of had a lot of momentum going into this inning, and then something like that to happen to such a major piece in their team. You hope that they can continue that energy as we begin this inning.
We're talking about just significant injuries too. Not like little things for BYU, but major knee surgery for one pitcher, shoulder surgery for the other, broken foot for Kaya Fabella, broken arm for Haley Morrow when she got hit by a pitch by Nigeri Kennedy, Texas Tech's outstanding ace. And fingers crossed that Brittingham is dealing with something minor and can return.
And senior Jalen Lambert
yes,
get to play this year because of her back surgery also. It's just been brutal in the injury category for BYU.
The game must go on, and it can be cutthroat in that fashion, as you just feel terrible for Ilovea Brittingham, and we'll see what develops perhaps get an update from Gordon Eakin when we talk to the BYU coach in the dugout in the later innings. And now it's on to Bree Townsend at catcher as BYU cycles their lineup yet again. And Miranda Mansfield now at third base. Gianna Mates is pitching with a 1-run lead after BYU did score 2 in the bottom half of that opening frame. Carly Ford is a sophomore out of Goddard, Kansas, and takes ball 1 from Mates. Ball 2 is low. Sydney Malott due up next for Iowa State, followed by Tiana Poole. And Pete Meredith, the pitching coach, is out to converse with Mates. Quick conversation.
And probably hard for Mates to come back and be throwing strikes after she just saw her catcher have to step out of the game. Just hope it doesn't mess with her too much. She's done a really good job the past week of getting ahead in counts and throwing lots of strikes. And she's going to continue to need to do that in today's game and the rest of the series as she faces this Iowa State lineup.
Three balls and no strikes. Perhaps Mates trying to get through an understandably rattling situation. Delivers a strike on the 3-0 pitch to Ford. Carly Ford batting .366. 48 hits on her season. One of four players in the lineup today with 48 or more, and she delivers an absolute no-doubter. Another solo home run for Iowa State. This one from Carly Ford. Her 7th of the season. We're tied at 2. Hitters count, hitter delivers.
And right before that pitch, I was just noticing how much the wind is blowing in right now. But she hit an absolute no-doubter on that pitch. This Iowa State offense has some serious home run power, which may be hard for BYU to deal with this whole weekend.
Second consecutive series where this BYU pitching staff has faced a lineup with multiple big-time home run hitters. 2-2 in the top of the second, no outs, bases empty. Sydney Malott, senior. And starting at first base today with her .318 average, we'll try and keep things rolling for the Cyclones offense. And it is an Iowa State offense that recently enjoyed a 12-0 win against then 19th ranked Oklahoma State, which, by the way, that 12-run win is the largest against a ranked opponent in school history. You run-ruled Oklahoma State 12-0.
And the fact that they zeroed them when they're just having such a great year this year is awesome for Iowa State's pitching staff as well.
You got a win against 14th ranked Arizona as well. I mean, this is a team that can absolutely swing it and are playing with some confidence as they roll into Provo.
And Gianna Mates again working from that 3-1 count, which ultimately gave up the home run from, and just the at-bat before. She's kind of trying to fight through and work through some of that control and start getting ahead in counts again.
Fouled back on the full count. Mates facing Malott. Sydney Malott named the Big 12 Player of the Week, with Lauren Skierman earning Big 12 Co-Pitcher of the Week back on March 24th.
And a very nice sit on that changeup. She timed it up really well, and we see Gianna Mates sneak that by. a lot of hitters where they don't even foul it off. It's often a swing and a miss. So seeing the ball really well at the plate right now.
Another payoff pitch is fouled back again. Three-two, and it is Malott who wins that at bat, draws the walk. The Cyclones in business with a runner now on first, tied at 2, thanks to that solo blast from Carly Ford. Tiana Poole. And Taylor Mares was so good in mixing up the style of her pitching against Houston in that sweep by the Cougars of BYU against the Cougars from Texas. You have to wonder how much has watching her catcher leave the game and giving up a couple of early home runs impacted her level of confidence.
Yeah, she's definitely going to have to get mentally tough in today's game, because that really can affect you big time as a pitcher. But I think she just has to build off of the confidence that she had to have built up for herself last weekend. She did such a fantastic job. And like you said, it wasn't just one pitch that was doing well for her. She had a nice rise ball, a curveball, and an amazing changeup all last weekend. She's going to need all of those pitches in today's game.
2 balls and a strike, make it 3 balls and a strike now from Mares to Poole. Iowa State looking for their first ever win in Provo. Fouled back for strike 2, and we'll have another full count scenario for Mares. BYU 6-0 all time on their home field against Iowa State. Cyclones trying to change that little bit of history. The 3-2 with no outs and a runner on first. It's a changeup and it misses a little bit high, perhaps outside of the zone. Back-to-back walks on full counts for Mares. And the pressure grows for BYU's left-handed ace. Ball 1 low and away. Isabel Nosen, batting 8th for Iowa State, designated player in the lineup with just a .095 batting average. So if Mares is hoping to secure an out, odds would suggest this is the player to get it against and try and calm down a little bit.
And she really came out firing. Besides that home run ball in the first inning, doing a really good job hitting her spots, but just struggling to throw strikes in those first 2 pitches of almost every at-bat this inning. And I really do think seeing her catcher go down has affected her a little bit, and she's going to have to figure some things out and throw some strikes right now for BYU if they don't want to let this inning run away from them.
Again, it's 3 balls and no strikes to a batter with a .095 average. There's a strike all the way, Nosen taking it. Nosen 2 hits in 21 previous at-bats. And it's 3 consecutive walks for Mares.
Well, if you're Iowa State at this point, you're going to stand up there in the box and not even think about swinging until she has probably 2 strikes on you, just because it's very evident that she's struggling to find that control and strike zone in her pitching right now. and makes it even tougher as Gianna Mares now has the bases loaded and she doesn't want to walk someone in. This is where grand slams happen a lot because pitchers are trying to not walk somebody, and so they end up missing right down the middle of the plate.
All right, she delivers a strike on the first pitch to McKenna Andrews, who was understandably reluctant to swing the bat, most likely in that scenario. The 0-1 with the bases loaded, no outs. Check swing is ruled a ball. Andrews did not go around, 1-1.
And bases loaded right now. BYU's infield has stepped up. They're trying to get an out at home if they can, rather than the middle infielders staying back and trying to turn a double play.
Fouled up. High and behind home plate, strike 2. Gianna Mares trying to pitch out of a major jam here in the top of the second inning, has already surrendered a solo home run to Carly Ford to open up the top of the second, and then has walked 3 consecutive batters. The 1-2 to Andrews is popped up. Udall Woolley floating over, but that too will fall out of play on top of the Iowa State dugout. So the count remains a ball and 2 strikes.
And a much better approach from Gianna Mares with this batter. Going and getting 2 strikes early, it gives her that little bit more of room to work and to really try and hit her spots right here.
That ball is turned on and hit well, but falling foul. Well, Lily Owens over near the bullpen, she took a hard hit against that fence.
She was running full speed
Did she
to
lose
try
her
and catch
glove
that
into
ball.
the,
Yeah, she's
like
gonna.
she lost her glove in the bullpen.
Yeah. And you wonder if anyone on BYU's side was yelling to let her know that it was too far out of play anyways for her to make a play on it.
Looks like she just kind of got caught by surprise.
Yeah.
Fence showed up a little earlier than she was anticipating.
And
Gives the
BYU
thumbs up, so good to see that she's okay. Owens is another player that's worked through a few minor injuries this season. And heaven forbid we see anything else.
Yeah. They do not need any more in today's game, especially such an important series they're trying to get through.
1-2, bases still loaded, no outs, tied at 2 in the top of the second. Iowa State with a massive opportunity here, and Andrews takes ball 2 low and away. Andrews popped up again, and once again out of play.
And it might get extra tricky for BYU right here. Tiana Poole over there on second base is actually picking which side of the plate Gianna Mares is about to pitch to. She sees BYU's catcher Bree Townsend move a little bit early and is letting her hitter know.
That ball is hit well, left field. Owens fading back. The wind is blowing in. She'll make the catch on the warning track and throw it in quickly. Boy, our second almost grand slam of this game. BYU had a chance with Brittingham. It was caught and brought back into the park. And the wind blowing in on both of those has kept it away from multiple grand slams in this game.
Absolutely, because off the bat, that was another one that looked like it may just go, but the wind is really keeping the ball in today. And Lily Owens did a good job getting that ball in very quickly. Iowa State wasn't able to advance Tiana Poole from second to third base, even though that was a really deeply hit ball.
Sydney Malott tags up from third and scores, so Iowa State takes the lead at 3-2. And there will be a pitching change now for BYU, with Cyclones on first and second and 1 down, and an important out, a long out that Mares was able to pick up on that catch by Owens. She will turn things over to Jada Villegas. Another left-hander. Villegas with an 8.23 earned run average, has gone 58 2/3 this season. 42 walks, 32 strikeouts, not exactly the ratio you want to see. And Jada's a player that's been relied upon more because of injuries We're hoping that she can start to find her groove late in the season, because it has been a rough go for the entire staff.
And I would not be surprised to see Diana Mares maybe even again in today's game if she can just, it almost seemed like a mental hiccup for her, especially after Elavea Brittingham, her catcher, went down before the inning even started. I really think that messed with her and is kind of the result of the home run and also the 3 walks that she gave up.
Well, Iowa State will bring up the top of the order now with Jessie Clemens, who struck out in her first at-bat facing Mares. So a change of pace, a reset of sorts, as Gordon Eakin and his pitching coach Pete Meredith turn to Jada Villegas. Our first pitching change of the day. It happens early. BYU trying to limit the Cyclones to 2 runs here in the top of the second. 1 down, third base is open with runners on first and second, and Clemens back into the box from the right side. Strike on the inside part of the plate from Villegas. Villegas delivers the 0-1. Rise ball is fouled back. She's ahead in the count. From the desk of Captain Obvious, Taylor, Villegas obviously wants to take care of Clemens here to get to a 2-out situation before she faces Tatum Johnson, because Reagan Bartholomew
Yes.
is in line to potentially really open this game up.
BYU definitely would love an out right here, and I think it would help them tremendously this inning if they can go get Clemens right now.
One and 2. That misses. Low and a bit inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The 2-2. Ooh. Out of the hand, looked pretty good. Probably a little bit low in the zone, and it's a full count.
But not bad misses by any means. You want those pitches that are nice and close to have hitters like Clemens guessing if they're balls or strikes. Especially when you're ahead in the count like Jada Villegas was right there.
Payoff pitch is ripped into center field. That'll score 1 more run for Iowa State. It's 4-2 Cyclones on the 1-out RBI single from Jessie Clemens. She drives in Tiana Poole. Clemens has her 26th RBI of the season.
Very nice hit ball. I mean, you can't ask for anything more if you're Iowa State, runner on second, and a ball driven up the middle like that. Perfectly executed by them.
So Villegas gives up the RBI. And what a stab! Double play to get out of the inning when BYU needed it most, and that Cyclone offense flexing. Villegas makes the nonchalant behind the back grab and a simple throw over to first. We told you this game was full of entertainment value. It gets even better. We'll go to the bottom of the second.
She didn't even see herself catch that.
What if your brand could huddle with 65,000 fans at LaVell Edwards Stadium, or make a buzzer-beating impression in the Marriott Center? When you become a corporate sponsor of BYU Athletics, you're not just advertising, you're aligning with excellence, loyalty, and a fan base that bleeds blue and rallies behind our partners. Whether it's game day signage, digital reach, or unforgettable promotions, BYU puts your business in the starting lineup. Email sponsorship@byu.edu. Put your brand in the game and experience the power of partnership with BYU Athletics.
Building a legacy isn't just about winning. It takes drive, commitment, and the will to tackle adversity. Be a part of this proud history with a BYU card from Mountain America Credit Union.
I went with my style checking and a debit card.
And I have a rewards credit card.
Cosmo?
He has both.
Continue the legacy. Get your BYU debit or credit card exclusively at Mountain America.
Goes Calvis, throw it way out. Bringing a run, we got a double. Big conference. You call it the third. Great defensive. Jackie in the second.
Making 12 up.
Base runner.
What a start to this game. The highlight plays all over the place in an inning and a half. Most recently from BYU relief pitcher Jada Villegas, who makes the backhanded stab, catch, grab, whatever you want to call it. I mean, just so relaxed. And then the throw over to first to double up Iowa State. And the Cyclones were on the verge of breaking this game open. What a catch.
It's amazing that your reaction time can be that good, that she literally didn't even have her eyes on the ball as she caught it. Her glove just knew exactly where to go. Huge for BYU to get out of that inning.
Iowa State does score 3 in the top of the second to take a 4-2 lead. Carly Ford with a solo home run. Then 3 consecutive walks from Gianna Matez really put BYU in a tough place, but the Cougars able to limit the damage, if you will. And Lauren Skierman is back out into the circle for Iowa State, pitching now with a 2-run lead. She herself trying to keep the Cyclones in front and hold a BYU offense that has been playing better at bay. That's a good start. Tristan Turlington on the 2-hopper to shortstop is thrown out by Bartholomew, and there's 1 down.
And that's one of those plays as a shortstop that just easy, nice hops right up to you. Knew Bartholomew was going to make that play. And tough for Tristan Turlington as she's fighting for her first hit of the game.
You're looking at Elovea Brittingham in the BYU dugout. The catcher had to leave the game with what looks like a shoulder strain of some sort. She's got her shoulder wrapped up. And a huge blow to BYU's offense to have their most explosive hitter, an explosive power hitter, not available at the moment. Lexi Bennett, the senior and slap hitter, takes ball 1 from Skierman, so it's 1-1 with 1 down and the bases empty. Outside again to Bennett for ball 2.
And kind of interesting defensive setup from Iowa State, pulling their third baseman Andrews clear over closer to Bartholomew over there at shortstop. A lot of times when you have lefty slap hitters, those third basemen are actually crowding the line, but they're really only defending the middle part of the field right now and leaving both first baseline and third baseline fairly open for Lexi Bennett.
Hitters count for Bennett, 3 balls and a strike. Showing bunt currently. She'll now pull back, and that is going to be an infield single for Lexi Bennett.
And that was weird. I thought that hit her
off
foot.
Of her foot. I thought they were going to call it a dead ball, and Jamie Pinkerton, not surprisingly, out to argue that call and is going to call for, I believe, a review here.
And it doesn't seem like it hit her from that angle, but watching it happen live, I totally thought it hit off of her foot. I even saw Coach Allie Schneeman over there asking her, I think, did that hit you? And she said no. So just kind of a funky bounce that ball took to make it appear as if it went off of Lexi Bennett's foot.
Well, Mike Bartling is the home plate umpire. He's discussing things with Coach Pinkerton, who has now formally asked for that review. Susan Eads at first base and Rob Pentikoff with the duties.
Iowa State is challenging the call that the ball did not hit the batter. This play is under review.
There you go. And the announcement from Susan. Rob Pentecoff, I was saying, is your third base umpire. Here is another closer look on the at-bat from Lexi Bennett. And this should tell us everything we need to know. And okay, maybe it won't tell us everything we need to know. Now they're going to have to start looking at the spin of the ball. Does the rotation of the ball alter at all when it comes up around her knee area after it initially hits off the ground?
It is so dang close to both her foot and her knee as it bounces up, but based on the two angles that we've seen, I don't think it clearly shows the ball hitting Lexi Bennett at all.
So perhaps a break for BYU to have Lexi Bennett on first base with the awkward spin off the bat. And as it stands for the moment, an infield single. Here's one more look at that front view. Does the ball bounce up? It doesn't hit her foot. I don't even see the shoelace move. I don't think that ball hits her.
I agree, because the ball doesn't change the way it's spinning as it comes up. Like, narrowly misses her shin and knee, though.
Well, this one might be a little lengthier because it is so close. To Iowa State, 1 out, bottom of the second. And BYU hoping to get an offensive spark here with Lexi Bennett being awarded that single. Look at Cosmo, world famous mascot. His social media bios would tell you that anyway, but he's earned it.
Yes.
All right, here's the ruling from Susan Eads.
After further review, the call on the field is confirmed. The ball did not hit the batter. This is the first challenge by Iowa State. They have one remaining challenge.
All right, Susan makes it official. Lexi Bennett on first. Third hit of the game for BYU.
And not a bad idea of Iowa State to challenge that play, because even looking at it live, I thought it also hit off of her foot, and I was just waiting for the umpire to call it, but instead she sneaks a hit out of it, and a really good job by BYU to get a runner on first base.
Danica Acosta walked in her first at-bat against Skierman. Now trying to advance Lexi Bennett with 1 out. Skierman's 37th pitch of the game is a chopper. Speed all over the base paths, but not enough for Acosta to beat out the throw from the charging Reagan Bartholomew. Nice play at shortstop for out number 2. BYU does have a runner in scoring position with Bennett advancing to second.
And a good job from Danica Acosta on a ball like that to at least advance the runner. There was no play at second base, like you said, with Lexi Bennett's speed and just the way that ball was hopping. But now BYU does have a runner in scoring position for Lily Owens.
Owens takes ball 1 inside as she's brushed back on the rise ball from Skierman. The wind has shifted a bit again, still blowing in, now moving from right to left. The 1-0. And Owens goes opposite field. Poole right on target, makes the catch. The Cougars strand one more in scoring position, and Iowa State will take a 2-run lead into the top of the third, led off by Reagan Bartholomew, who just hit her 13th home run of the season. move into the top of the third inning. Iowa State leading BYU 4-2 in game one of this three-game weekend set. Here's a look at the Cyclones season recap. 25-17, identical 5-10 Big 12 record as the team they're facing today in BYU. And the resumes in the Big 12 for both the Cougars and the Cyclones are very similar.
Yeah.
Iowa State has 2 wins against ranked teams. Beat Arizona, beat 19th Oklahoma State, and swept Houston. BYU also swept Houston, have a win against ranked Oklahoma State. BYU's other win came against a very good Kansas team who is receiving votes. So 2 equally matched teams, identical records, and both trying to put together enough in the back half of conference play to feel that their spot in the Big 12 tournament, which takes only the top 8 teams out of 11 to that postseason scenario. Reagan Bartholomew, home run in her first at bat, now has a leadoff single for Iowa State. Well, she is just striping the ball.
And that ball was well hit in that left center field gap, but Lily Owens with her speed got over there quick to turn it into a single rather than a double. And Bartholomew already has 12 doubles on the season. She not only hits the home run ball well, but just hits for extra bases frequently for Iowa State. She is just on fire.
Team leader with 58 hits on the season now in 131 at-bats. 2 for 2 today, and is pushing her batting average up in the ballpark of 440. Cadence Shepard in the cleanup spot, facing Jada Villegas, who took over for Gianna Matez in the top of the second inning after Matez got herself into some trouble, surrendering a solo home run and then 3 consecutive walks before almost mercifully getting a long fly ball out at the fence in left field. And then Gordon Eakin said, all right, Gianna, you take a break. Let's give it to Villegas. Villegas made a highlight defensive play to get out of the top of the second with that backhanded grab and throw over to first for a double play. But now faces an uphill battle against the heart of the order for the Cyclones. 2-1, make it 2-2. Villegas finding the zone against Shepard. Two. We move to a full count. Between these two pitchers, how many full counts have we seen? I mean, the majority have come on the BYU side, but it is often going deep into counts.
Well, and part of me wonders
fouled off.
how much that could be just from throwing to a catcher they're not used to throwing to. I mean, I'm sure they throw bullpens to Bree Townsend, but they haven't really thrown to her in a game time situation all season long. It just is a little bit of a different thing that shouldn't make a difference in a game, but totally can when you're pitching to a catcher you're not used to seeing.
The payoff pitch, again fouled off on the ground to the left side. Miranda Mansfield now at third base. Townsend behind home plate. Townsend started at third, but the injury to Brittingham forced a shift in the lineup for Gordon Eakin and BYU. 3-2 again, hit well, and that's past the diving Acosta. Bartholomew will reach third, no problem. Runners on the corners, no outs, and Iowa State in business once again, looking to add to their already 2-run lead.
And since Jada Villegas came in, there's been so many balls hit up the middle. Several ground balls, and then also the screamer that she was able to snag. I mean, Iowa State doing a great job keeping the ball away from BYU defenders as they drive it up the middle.
This is an Iowa State offense that collectively is pacing to have an historic season in terms of overall success. Closing in on single season batting average records right now, 325. They've already Got 66 home runs, including the 2 today. There's Carly Ford, who has one of those 2 home runs, a solo shot to open up the second inning as part of a 3-run outburst by the Cyclones. Four runs on 5 hits for Iowa State, 2 runs on 3 hits for BYU. Villegas delivers from the circle. Ford popped up directly behind home plate, now to play, strike 2.
And BYU's infield is playing the base pass. You know they're trying to get an out at home if there's an opportunity that presents itself here. They don't want to give up any more runs as they're chasing 2 against Iowa State.
Villegas outside part of the plate. Sends Carly Ford back to the dugout with a strikeout, looking for out number 1.
A very nice spot on the outside corner for Jada Villegas. Very big of her to come up against someone like that and not only get the strikeout, but she was hitting her spots really well and came out throwing strikes early on in that count. Really sets herself up for success.
It's now Sydney Malott, who takes a ball inside.
And that fake bunt is very beneficial for Iowa State because it puts BYU out of position to take a play down at second base, and so they can easily get that runner from first base over to second base uncontested, sorry.
Ball 2 is low from Villegas, who has now thrown 23 pitches in relief. Took over for Gianna Mates, who lasted only an inning and a third. The 2-0. And that too is ruled low. Shepard has advanced to second base, so both runners in scoring position. The 3-0. And with first base open, 4 pitches, 4 balls. Bases are loaded again. And Iowa State ready to blow this game open here in the top of the 3rd. Does BYU have another defensive answer here? Tiana Poole, opportunity knocks, and she takes a strike.
And the trend this game on both sides has been get the bases loaded and almost hit a home run. So you wonder if we're going to see something like that happen again as we have another one of those situations present itself.
Inside part of the plate. Poole doesn't like the call, but it is strike 2.
And huge for Jada Villegas after throwing a walk just the batter before and not really throwing a lot of strikes in that at bat to come in firing and get ahead early.
The 0-2. Hit well right field, and it is caught! Tavita ran in, and it looked like it was going to sail over her head, but she snow cones that ball and keeps the runners on their respective bases.
Which is crazy that Bartholomew over there at third didn't score. Even on the tag, but you can see she was caught clear out almost to home on that line drive, so she couldn't. She had no choice but to go back, so huge out for BYU.
I mean, the Cougars playing with fire in back-to-back innings, but making the plays so far to stay in this game. Here's Isabel Nosen. Tavita took 2 steps in, maybe 2.5 steps, and everybody in the park was thinking the same thing. That's going to sail over her head, but she reaches up and makes the catch. On the ground, Nosen. The throw from Turlington over to Udall Woolley, and how about Jada Villegas bearing down and keeping BYU within 2 runs. Entertainment value at an all-time high at Miller Park. than ever, BYU softball, and by necessity, relying on a youth movement. Sophomores Danica Acosta and Bree Townsend, joined by the freshman Rita Tavita, they are being asked to carry a heavy load for a BYU team working through a rash of injuries. And all three of them have made big plays today. Most recently, Rita Tavita making a snow cone catch in right field to hold Iowa State scoreless in the top of the third. The Cyclones had the bases loaded with one out, and an absolute blast. Line drive was sent to right field. It looked like it was going to go over the head of Tavita, but she recovered in time and makes the play, holding the Iowa State runners on their respective bases. And Jada Villegas, the Cougars pitcher, gets a ground ball out to somehow escape with no additional runs given up to the Cyclones. So Iowa State is stranded 4, BYU is stranded 3, and we're still in a 2-run game in the bottom of the third. Haley Schuler is the batter, facing an 0-2 count against Skierman, and takes a rise ball high and a bit inside for ball 1. The 1-2. Ball 2 inside.
And Iowa State again right here opting to pull their third baseman off the line and leave the third base line just wide open for BYU. It seems like they would rather cover that 5-6 hole than guard the third base line, and maybe that's because of BYU and where they're trending to hit the ball this year, or maybe they just feel like that works better for them as a team, and with Skierman pitching and where she places her pitches.
Payoff. Schuler turns on that, fouls it off to the left side on the ground. And correct me if I'm wrong, Haley Schuler was down 0-2 in the count in her first at-bat and drew a walk, trying to do something similar here. Down 0-2, has pushed it to a full count. And in a battle for the Cougars in her leadoff spot in the bottom of the third, with BYU trailing by 2. Better yet, Schuler's gonna hit a solo home run. And we're in a 1-run game. Haley Schuler, 4th home run of the season.
And we were talking about the younger players of this team. Haley Schuler, also just a sophomore, and sat on that changeup so good. I mean, textbook hitting right there. She got her foot down, kept her hands back, and drove through that changeup. That was huge for Haley Schuler in that moment to get BYU another run as they're chasing Iowa State that now has the 1-run lead.
How about 3 home runs in a day where the wind is blowing rather significantly in towards home plate? And Iowa State has hit a couple of blasts with Reagan Bartholomew and Carly Ford. And now Haley Schuler has done the same thing. They're just cutting through the teeth of the wind. Here is Maddie Udall-Woolley, who is thrown out at first base after a slow chopper to short. Bartholomew makes a nice play to retire BYU's first baseman for the first out here in the bottom of the third.
And all of those home runs that we've seen make it out of the park that go through the wind are just slammed. Like they're not even close to just barely making it out. They go 20 feet out of the park. So it's just impressive how hard both teams can hit the ball.
Miranda Mansfield, the senior, unexpectedly is thrust into the lineup because of Brittingham's injury, pushing her out of the game. Townsend goes to catch her from third, and Mansfield now playing at third in her first at-bat. A slapper and a lefty takes ball 1 from Skierman.
And a nice thing about that situation is Mansfield and Townsend have kind of been taking turns over there with duties at third base. So it's not like she hasn't been in the rotation, but just wasn't expecting to play today, and a big hit from her.
Beautifully placed on a shot past the glove of Andrews at third base. And BYU has the game-tying run on first base. Andrews playing in. And that is textbook slap hitting.
Absolutely. That's when it's kind of hard if you take your chance. Iowa State playing in like that.
Tavita has popped up on the first pitch she sees and frustrated by that result for out number 2.
Now batting for BYU, number 21, Bree Townsend.
Here comes Bree Townsend. Trying to extend the inning for BYU on offense. 2 outs and Mansfield on first after her 1-out single. And that pitch was kind of hiding from Carly Ford as it was low in the dirt. She stood up, found it, but Mansfield will easily advance to second base. So now a base hit for Bree Townsend. Likely to tie this game at 4. And the pitch gets away again from Ford. So she's crossed up by Skierman once again, and yeah, that's going to prompt a conversation.
Yeah. I mean, we see pitches get away every once in a while, but 2 in a row, you just wonder if they're on the same page as far as the pitch signals that they're getting.
She sets up low, and then that ball comes in well high.
And she moved to the outside part of the plate, but maybe she wasn't expecting the rise ball and was expecting something more low, and that's why it got away from her. But they cannot let another one get away right now, or else BYU will be able to score Miranda Mansfield.
Tying run on third base. 2 balls, no strikes. Make it 3 balls and no strikes from Skierman to Townsend. Tristan Turlington due up next for BYU. The 3-0. Townsend obliged to take that for the first strike.
And in a great hitter's count right here, Townsend can be picky on this next pitch and make sure it's something that she likes.
Townsend one hops it right back to Skierman, who makes a nice play and a throw over to first to retire the side. BYU does get 1 back thanks to the solo home run from Haley Schuler, her 4th home run of the season. It's a 4-3 game. Wildly entertaining contest between the Cyclones and Cougars goes to the 4th.
Hi, I'm Carla, founder of Big Billy Turf and the creator of Efforts Flow by Carla. From snowy winters to hot summers, our turf is designed to handle Salt Lake's unique climate. I started this company because I wanted something that was better than what was out there. Turf that actually works for real life, especially for your kids and your pets. My dog Waffles is my toughest critic, and she approves. So if you're ready to stop fighting with your yard, start loving it, Efforts Flow by Carla is only available at Big Billy Turf.
There's a spirit of innovation radiating from the Iowa State campus. You can feel it flowing through every building and in the hearts and minds of every person who studies and works here. It inspires a culture of creativity and collaboration unlike any other university, which is just one reason Iowa State was honored as the Entrepreneurial University of the Year for the Americas. At Iowa State, the spirit of innovation is in everyone, guiding us to create a brighter future for all.
Well, it's always a good day for an absence from school to watch a little softball and eat a fried, delicious Cougar Tail donut.
Absolutely.
And 2 really entertaining softball teams putting on a display at 4-3 with Iowa State leading by 1 run as we go to the top of the 4th. We are pleased to welcome in the head coach of BYU softball, Gordon Eakin. And Coach, it has kind of been a hang on and grit your teeth type game for your squad. How are you feeling about your team's resilience and working through an unexpected injury to Elavea Brittingham?
Yeah, well, we just got to keep competing. I mean, I'm proud of Bree for going back there and doing such a great job, and we just got to keep fighting.
What can you tell us about the status of Elo Brittingham?
She dislocated her shoulder. She wants to go back in, but I don't think we'll use her today, and we'll see about tomorrow, but it was a dislocated shoulder.
Well, if anyone is questioning her toughness, nobody is now, but that's kind of the state of your team this season, is it not, Coach?
Pretty much, pretty much.
I mean, it's been incredible. Well, you got Jada Villegas in the circle. We'll finish there. What are you telling her as she faces a talented Iowa State lineup?
Compete. That's what we're telling all our players, is just compete, have heart, and compete.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Okay, thank you.
Gordon Eakin with us from the headset. Elo Brittingham, a dislocated shoulder.
Yeah.
And wanted to go back in.
I mean, I'm not surprised. I think she is a tough cookie out there, but man, BYU, that is so sad for them to have her go down with something like that.
And a first pitch unfortunate scenario as Villegas hits McKenna Andrews. That never feels good for Andrews, but at least she does take one for the team and earn a leadoff hit by pitch and free base over at first. Well, that changes things now for Villegas because Andrews is the number 9 batter. And now you're back to the top of the order with the leadoff successfully on first base after one pitch. Runner goes, throw down, and Andrews beats it. Her 8th stolen base of the season on 9 attempts.
And you wonder if they were even actually trying to get a bunt down right there. They were just trying to cover up Andrews as she tried to, or successfully stole second base right there. But now, I mean, a freebie from her getting hit, and now the stolen base. Iowa State yet with another hitter in scoring position.
We should note, not a bad throw from Bree Townsend.
Yeah, especially after she hasn't even been catching this year. She probably doesn't take a lot of throwdowns, but BYU relying heavily on her after Elo's injury.
Pitch is inside from Villegas on an 0-2 count, so ball 1. 2 strikes to Jessie Clemens, who is 1 for 2 with a strikeout and an RBI single in her most recent at-bat. Part of a 3-run second inning for Iowa State to give them the lead they hold right now, which is 4-3. Two on the ground over the glove of Mansfield. It's thrown in quickly by Owens, so the runners will hold. They're on the corners at first and third with no outs, and Villegas again working uphill. It has been the story of the game for BYU's pitchers, Gianna Mates and Jada Villegas, of allowing early runners on base and then trying to hang on and limit damage. Gordon Eakin said, I've been telling him, just compete. Well, the competition goes to another level here with the next 3 batters due up for Iowa State. Tatum Johnson, throw down, is cut off by Turlington. BYU trying to bait potentially the runner at third to go home and get caught in a pickle, but Andrews does not bite.
And Iowa State doesn't really need to be extra aggressive on the base. They have the lead right now. There's no outs, 2 runners on. I mean, better safe than sorry, choosing to stay over there on third base.
2 balls and no strikes now as Villegas delivers outside to Tatum Johnson. Johnson 0 for 2, batting in the number 2 spot. It was Johnson that hit the line drive back to Villegas. And she made that incredible play, and that one gets through Villegas. 1 run scores. And Iowa State back in front by 2 at 5-3. Runners still on the corners, no outs. And here comes Reagan Bartholomew, who is 2 for 2 with a home run and a single. As we look back at Tatum Johnson's rip through the middle of the infield.
And almost the exact same ball that she was caught up on, just the at-bat before was a little bit lower, so Jada Villegas couldn't quite reach it, but she's driving the ball today.
Bartholomew hit her 13th home run of the season earlier in the game, batting .443 now, and trying to add on to Iowa State's 2-run lead. Time is called.
Well, I believe the third base umpire called legal pitch, but they were tapping on their watches for what she did on the illegal pitch. I'm not exactly sure. But an early ball in this at-bat from something that Jada Villegas did in the circle.
Well, Iowa State, with the home runs from Bartholomew and Ford, I need to correct myself minorly from something I said earlier. They are at 62 home runs as a team on the season. One more would set a new season record. Taylor, it's not even May.
Yeah, they definitely have time to do it. So I would be surprised if they didn't even reach that by the end of this weekend.
Two and one. Bartholomew turns on that and hits a long strike out of play. Well, BYU clearly giving Villegas the green light to try and manufacture an out and throw to contact with Bartholomew. Two-two. Low and away. Okay, now you wonder if BYU is better suited to load the bases and create a force at any base scenario. I don't know, Taylor. It's a gauntlet to get through. And the throw down is not going to matter because that was ball 4. So Villegas does walk Bartholomew, and that'll bring up Caden Shepard. And Shepard's average not as strong as several of her other teammates in today's starting lineup at .283 coming into the game. But she does have 11 home runs on the season and is number 2 in runs batted in with 39 entering today's game. First pitch, swing, fouled back for a strike.
But with the walk, at least BYU has bases loaded and could potentially pull out a double play, or at least the force is now in effect. So BYU just really trying to get an out right here if they can.
Fouled off on a line to the right side bleachers. Strike 2. Carly Ford, Sydney Malott are due up after Shepard. Clemens is on third, Bartholomew on first. Iowa State already with 1 run across here in the top of the 4th. And that pitch is low and away on an 0-2. Hit to second. Throw home. And BYU does get the force out to prevent another run for the first out.
And Danica Acosta had 2 options right there. She could take that ball home and get the force at home, but she really had a great opportunity for the tag out and throw over to 1 for a double play, but BYU does not want to allow any more Iowa State runs, so she opts for the play at home.
And that deflects off the glove of Villegas. 2 runs are going to score for Iowa State. And a break of sorts for the Cyclones as that deflected off of Villegas' glove. and had Turlington, the shortstop, moving in a different direction. You wondered, Taylor, if Villegas doesn't touch that ball, if Turlington's going to get to that ball and at least limit it to a one-run scored situation for Iowa State.
Yeah, so hard to tell because, I mean, Turlington would have had to cover some serious ground to get that ball, but maybe it would have just been the one run that Iowa State scores rather than the two.
It's now 7-3, and that's hit to right field. Runner will tag. 2 down, but Iowa State has added another 4 runs here in the top of the 4th. It's 8-3. And at some point, with what Iowa State was doing consistently, pounding and putting runners on base, you knew that there was going to be a breakthrough for such a strong offense. They are in control of 5 runs, and BYU not out of trouble yet with a runner on third and 2 down.
Especially when at a point in this inning there was no outs and bases loaded. That's just tough if you're BYU to defend something like that, as they're just scraping to get outs right now against Iowa State, who is hitting the ball very well.
Carly Ford is on third. Sydney Malott picks up the latest RBI with her plate appearance, and now Tiana Poole with a chance to put the Cyclones in front by 6 or even 7, depending on what happens in this at-bat. 1-1 from Villegas to Poole. It's low for ball 2. The Cyclones with 1 run in the first, 3 in the second, 0 in the third, but 4 here in the top of the 4th. Two-one, and a strike. Big swing from Poole. Behind that from Villegas, 2-2. Again, the Cyclones looking for their first win ever in Provo. They're 0 for 6. Poole brushed back, gets a full count. Cyclones threatening to bat through the order here in the 4th. Payoff pitch is lined foul. Rolling into right field, DeVita over to pick it up for BYU, and we'll have another 3-2 pitch. Poole walked in the second and flew out to right field in the third. And that fly out was more of a line out that Rita Tavita caught at the top of her glove. Another 3-2, and Poole draws a 2-out walk. I would imagine we will see a pitching change after this inning for BYU. But I think the staff just kind of collectively hoping in the BYU dugout that Villegas can just get out of it, and then there'll be a reset in the dugout.
And BYU doesn't even necessarily have anyone out warming up in their bullpen right now, but there's just not that many pitching options for BYU. It makes it tough for them to collectively put together a 3-game series against anybody because they just don't have that many pitchers. And we talked about Gianna Mates, who herself has a stress fracture in her foot that she's dealing with, so just tough for BYU.
Haley Schuler has been the answer often, the designated player. So maybe Schuler, but BYU riding the left arm of Villegas for the moment. He's trying to get out of a tough 4th inning after surrendering 4 already. Cyclones again on the corners, and Ashley Miner is the batter for Iowa State, a pinch hitter that we should note. Senior infielder. So lefty on righty here with 1 ball and 1 strike and 2 down. Rise ball is high for ball 2. And here comes Pete Meredith. Long-time pitching coach for BYU. A legend in his own right in professional softball as a pitcher. Now, there's a guy that knows how to throw hard or understands what that is like.
Yes. And he throws a mean rise ball.
You've seen it in practice.
Oh my gosh, yes. And he's not even trying that hard, I don't think. And man, he can spin the ball and he brings the heat.
The 2-1. Minor patiently takes ball 3. Cyclones started this inning with the number 9 batter. It was McKenna Andrews, and they are at the number 9 spot again, but it's a pinch hitter, Ashley Minor. 3-1, foul tip, strike 2 into the glove of Bree Townsend.
Big opportunity right here for Jada Villegas to get BYU out of the inning. They just need that one more out before they can go to work at the plate.
Full count, hit well. Fair ball down into left field off the fence. It's 9-3 Iowa State.
And it looks like there is, I believe those are batting cards.
Batting
yes,
cards, yeah, okay.
For the signals for them to bunt or steal, or you don't want those to get away from you if you're Iowa State, and BYU be able to know what you're calling.
A pinch hit RBI to make it 9-3, and the cards
blow out of like her arm sleeve,
just
I guess.
Flying all over the field.
And with a 3-2 count, that ball was driven well. Very nice hit from a pinch hitter to step in and also deliver an RBI.
I got ahead of myself. That was a pinch hitter for Isabel Nosen. So my apologies for that. Nosen was the designated player. Ashley Minor came in to replace her. So here is McKenna Andrews. And now Iowa State has officially batted through the lineup in the 4th inning. Thanks to 5 runs scored here in the top of the 4th frame. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 down, runners on 2nd and 3rd. And BYU getting to that danger zone, Taylor, with an Iowa State offense of being in that run rule scenario. Gordon Eakin told us earlier this year in preparation for the Houston series, I've never dealt with a season like this. We've never, as a coaching staff, endured so many run rule games. We've been the team for so many years, for decades, delivering the run rule wins. That's hit to center field. Lexi Bennett going back, makes a great catch for the 3rd out.
And BYU definitely needed that right there. Like you said, getting close to that run rule with the 11th run on 2nd base.
It'll stay 9-3. Do the Cougars have it in them to keep competing on their home field and make this a game? Miller Park in Provo, Utah. Iowa State flexing that outstanding offense that is pacing for historic numbers. And opening this game up now, leading 9-3 after 5 runs in the top of the 4th. And joining us now from Iowa State's dugout is the Cyclones head coach, Jamie Pinkerton. Coach, we just mentioned the offense that has been hitting the ball out of the park no matter where you've been playing. To what do you attribute the major step forward in offense this season?
Well, we just have a system, and it's been in place now since Coach Hughes got here and has done the hitting. And I've been able to take the step back, and Malaysia's done a good job of coming in as a volunteer and helping us offensively. But also, too, you got to give credit to the players. You know, we're pretty senior laden, so there's a lot of experience there. And we're seeing the ball well all year, and we've been hitting the ball. So we've done a really good job.
Lawrence Skierman, your starting pitcher, leads the game with your team in front by 6. You go with Jaden Ralston. Why do you feel like now was the time to make that switch?
You know, I just turned that over to the pitching coach, you know, Coach Kate Sennett, and we've done it all year where they've split games, and sometimes we will go with one and then bring the other one in and then switch, and one will start and the other come in. We haven't had, if you look at our stats, we haven't had a lot of complete games, so it gives a different look, change it up, and then if we have to come back late and change things up, then we can bring Skierman back or one of the other ones out of the bullpen.
Coach, great stuff. Such a great opportunity to watch a really fun offense. Best of luck here to the rest of the way.
All right, thank you.
Jamie Pinkerton of Iowa State. And his team in front by 6 as they turn to Jaden Ralston.
I want to know.
I think everyone wants to know how this works because whatever it is,
it's good. It's working good.
They're executing it beautifully.
He kept that very vague.
Ralston will face Tristan Turlington, BYU's number 8 batter, to open up the bottom of the 4th. Some significant work for this BYU team to do, and the climb feels extra steep for the Cougars. With no Elo Brittingham available, their best power hitter. It was injured. We learned it was a dislocated shoulder that she sustained reaching up for a warm-up pitch, of all things. Not sliding into a base or a collision of some sort. No, just reaching up, and the shoulder dislodged. And I mean, to Elo's credit, tough player, wanted to stay in the game or come back in the game, but they're going to hold her out, and we'll see what her availability is for the rest of the series. But without her in the lineup, Taylor, and this is a BYU team that, frankly, with the way that the pitching has gone this season, they know their offense needs to score a lot of runs to be in games. And BYU scored 10 or more in all 3 wins against Houston. It feels like it's going to be a similar situation if they want to outlast the talent and offense of Iowa State.
Absolutely. And they get to see 3 innings of Skierman. But then smartly, I think Iowa State brings in a different look. They don't want BYU to get a beat on any of their pitchers and be able to put up those big run numbers, because they're in a good spot right now against BYU, winning this game 9-3.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Tristan Turlington. Jaden Ralston in the circle, taking over for Lawrence Skierman, who pitched 3 innings.
And I'm curious about this conversation happening right now. Actually, the first pitch that Ralston threw was called an illegal pitch.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I don't know if the pitching coach just wanted some clarity on what she was doing wrong, or...
Well, often we see it called for the hop, right?
Yeah, exactly, and that could be it, but I haven't, did they just call another one and we just weren't
we didn't
paying attention? But... because I didn't see another one after
the foul ball has been ruled a ball because of the illegal pitch, and now that's a walk to Tristan Turlington. So that is a big call.
It was called twice then.
Okay, so it was called twice, because it was showing 2 balls and 2 strikes after that foul ball, but then it was overruled on the illegal pitch. 3-1 count. There goes ball 4, and here comes Lexi Bennett with Turlington on first base. Ralston outside to the slapper, Lexi Bennett.
Okay, and so on that pitch, I'm paying a little more attention to Ralston, the way she's delivering, right? She winds up and she didn't do it on that pitch, but like takes a step down onto the mound before she delivers the pitch. And Coach Eakin over on third base for BYU is motioning at the umpires like, what is that? That should be an illegal pitch every time, I think is what he's wanting.
Fouled out of play for strike 2 to Lexi Bennett.
Because as the pitcher, you can't lift your foot off of the rubber and then bring it back down. She has to maintain that contact as she is delivering that pitch, and I think sometimes she loses that contact.
Lexi Bennett is gonna beat the throw. Again, elite slap hitting by Lexi Bennett. As she drives that into the ground, that bounced about 15 or 20 feet in the air, and she has plenty of speed to beat out the throw from Bartholomew.
Yeah, Lexi Bennett does a really good job of that hard slap, uses the field to her advantage. BYU's field does have that little bit of bounce to it, and she's done a nice job of that today.
Bennett 2 for 2 with the 2 singles. Danica Acosta represents the top of the order for BYU. And now has runners on first and second with no outs. Goes without saying, in the bottom of the 4th, trailing by 6. BYU feeling like this is a golden opportunity to try and make this game a little more competitive and put some pressure back on Iowa State. The 1-1. Low and away for ball 2. Acosta off the glove of Bartholomew. Bases are loaded, and BYU catches a break. The usually short-handed shortstop lets that ball skip out of her glove, and frustration builds for Iowa State's defense with no outs and the bases juiced for BYU and Lily Owens.
And always tough to make a catch on a screaming line drive as you're elevated in the air trying to do so, but I think BYU would have been in trouble if Bartholomew catches that ball. I mean, it was hit so hard, I think Tristan Turlington over on second base very well could have got doubled off.
Well, they call it a hit for Acosta, so no error issued to Bartholomew. And now Owens steps in with the bases full of BYU Cougars. Owens. Well, she wanted that one. She'll fly out. Runner will tag from third and score. So that adds 1 for BYU. And he drives in Turlington. Runners stay on first and second, but the Cyclones do get the important first out on the fly ball from Owens to left. Now here comes Haley Schuler, who is 1 for 1 with a walk and a home run in her last at bat. Strike on the first pitch from Ralston. And Taylor, I didn't see what happened there. Was there an appeal of some sort?
Yeah, an illegal pitch.
Okay, so they do call the illegal pitch.
Yeah, and watch her foot. I think it's this foot, that front foot. Oh, and maybe it is the crow hop too. Combination of things may be going on.
Well, Schuler just hit a bomb of a foul ball while we were showing you that replay to make it 1-1. The 1-1. in there for strike 2. Wonder how much Ralston is now thinking about her approach.
Yeah. It's hard enough to go in there and hit your spots, throw good strikes, but then you're worried about being called for illegal pitches, and she's already been called for 3 this inning. Just can make it a little bit tricky to stay tough mentally as a pitcher.
BYU loaded the bases with no outs. Lily Owens with a fly ball to left drove in the first run of the bottom of the 4th for BYU. They're within 5 at 9-4 and threatening for more with runners on first and second and only 1 out.
And I saw third base umpire look like to me motioning for another illegal pitch, but there was nothing from the home plate umpire.
A ball regardless, so it's 2-2. Inside full count. Maddie Udall-Woolley due up next, batting cleanup for BYU today, followed by Miranda Mansfield. Schuler trying to deliver another spark of hope for BYU. And hits it well to left field. Gone! Her second home run of the game. It's 9-7.
And this is where the games get interesting, because BYU goes down 9-3 and then comes screaming back with already 4 runs this inning. And Haley Schuler, have yourself a day. 2 nice line drive balls that have been hit over the fence by her. She is on fire.
5 home runs on the season, and that little spark that BYU was hoping for has turned into a flame with the 4 runs here in the bottom of the 4th.
And interestingly enough, that pitch was also called illegal. I mean, it didn't matter because it was a home run for BYU either way, but I think that's why we're going to see a pitching change right now. I mean, that would have been 5, I think, illegal pitches in just 1 out of work for Ralston, sorry.
Ava Mullen will be the next pitcher for Iowa State, with BYU now back within 2 at 9-7. Let's have a look as Mullen warms up at Ralston's pitching.
Yeah, crow hop, no doubt right there.
And she knew right off the bat that she was in trouble. It was just a question of, was that ball going to be high enough to clear the fence?
Yeah.
That was roped out of the park by Schuler.
And Ralston is a senior pitcher. Kind of crazy that she's working through illegal pitches at this point in her career. I mean, usually I would expect to see that more out of a freshman or a sophomore than a senior.
Ava Mullen, 5.52 earned run average, 52 innings of work in her senior resume. 37 walks, only 17 strikeouts, so has had her issues with control at times. But now the Cyclones roll with their 3rd pitcher of the game to try and slow down BYU's offense, which now again has life. Iowa State built the lead to 6 at 9-3 after 5 runs in the top half of this inning. BYU has responded with 4 thanks to a 3-run homer from Haley Schuler, and the aluminum abuse for BYU continues with Maddie Udall-Woolley and a single on the ground up the middle. BYU now with their 9th hit of the game to equal Iowa State's 9 hits. Here is Miranda Mansfield. She takes ball 1.
And we knew both teams would be going after each other for this game today. But after BYU went down 9-3, That's a hard deficit to come back from, but they just make it look easy this inning as they've already put up the 4 runs and have another runner on base.
The game-tying run at the plate.
And Coach Pinkerton said it when we talked to him. They took Skirman out of the game, but we very well may see her again if BYU really continues to put on the runs.
Mansfield trying to go opposite field on the slap hit. Pushes it foul. A ball and 2 strikes. 16 combined runs, 18 combined hits, 10 combined left on base. We're not through 4 innings yet, which kind of makes it sound like a broken record situation based on what BYU just had in the Houston series. Long games, multiple pitching changes, so many hits and runs scored. I mean, 3-hour softball games are becoming the norm.
Yeah. And it's crazy because a lot of times, the first time teams play each other in a series, that's the most low scoring of the 3 games, just because they haven't really seen either pitcher on either team's side, but not the case today. So we already had 6 runs.
Well, Jesse Clemens gave it a good effort to try and catch that foul ball off the bat of Mansfield. You lay out, but just out of her reach. We stay at 1-2 with 1 down. Udall Woolley, the runner at first. And Mansfield slapping to the left side into foul territory again. Ava Mullen. Delivers low for ball 2. Mullen replaced Ralston, and that could, no, I thought she might try for a double play, but Udall Woolley got a good bounce off of first base. Good start, I should say, and so they'll opt to retire Mansfield at first for out number 2. BYU does have the runner in scoring position with Rita Tavita coming to the plate.
And Iowa State still has a 2-run lead, so just opting for an out in that scenario makes sense if you're the shortstop Bartholomew.
Tavita, Bartholomew floating over to her left and throws out Tavita at first. We're back in a shootout scenario once again. 9-7, Iowa State leads. Will go to the 5th.
The power of we is all for one. It's all for you. It's always there for you. It completes your circle. It says you've got a team even when you're out there alone. And with Intermountain Health in your circle, you'll always have the care you need to live the healthiest life possible. That's the power of we. Intermountain Health.
The Carr family is one of the most important families in the history of college wrestling.
Nate Carr was phenomenal when he was here, but right now, David Carr is the name.
If you look at the Carr family, we do not have an Olympic gold medalist. So now that opportunity has been passed on to David.
That's a lot of pressure.
Goes Calvis, throw it. Bring in a run. We got a double. Big conference. You call it foul. That's the third. Great defensive. Shockey in the second.
Making 12 up.
Base runner.
Well, just your typical 4th inning between these 2 teams. resulting in 9 combined runs in that 4th frame. 5 from Iowa State and 4 from BYU. The Cyclones really jumped on Jada Villegas to build a 9-3 lead in their last at bat. But the Cougars, with Haley Schuler hitting her 2nd home run of today's game and a 3-run shot in the bottom of the 4th, right back in this, down 9-7 as we go into the 5th. And there is Schuler, who, as we discussed during Villegas' struggles late in her pitching performance today, is indeed the next to go into the circle for BYU. Now, the one thing that Schuler does consistently is throw hard. But this is an Iowa State team that has seen plenty of pitchers that throw hard. Now it's the challenge of Schuler to really find some unique spots in the zone with her velocity, and at times she has struggled with that. But in her defense, she was never intended to be as heavily used as a pitcher as she is now because of all the injuries. And Gordon Eakin said, look, she's been an MVP for us. Does give up the leadoff single there to Jessie Clemens, who goes opposite field off some velocity. BYU in a scenario where, as cliche as it sounds, it is what it is.
And with Haley Schuler having such a good day at the plate, you hope that translates to the circle and she can really go in there with some confidence, knowing she's doing a good job offensively for BYU.
Tatum Johnson is the batter, 1 for 3 today. Clemens is now 3 for 4 after that single to open things up against Haley Schuler. Iowa State 10 for 19 hitting overall today. BYU 9 for 19. And these teams are just teeing off on each other. 2 balls, no strikes to Tatum Johnson. Reagan Bartholomew is due up next. 2-0. Low ball 3, runner goes, and that throw is late from Bree Townsend. So the Cyclones with another runner in scoring position.
And I was surprised to not see Townsend more ready for something like that. I mean, that was the 10th successful stolen base from Clemens over there on first. She's the one to most likely steal in Iowa's lineup. BYU really has to be all over her when she gets on base.
Change up from Schuler is in there for a strike, so it's 3-1. It kind of feels like the first to 10 runs is going to win this game.
Yeah, 10 runs might be our magic number. It has been for BYU all series long. Last weekend scored 10 runs their first game, 10 the second, and 10 the third?
Correct.
Yes, like that has been their number, so maybe if they can hold Iowa State at 9 and push for 3 more, they can do it again today.
Johnson popped up, and Turlington can't make the catch. It's in play. It's going to be not your typical extra base hit for Tatum Johnson, who found a spot, got past the glove of the diving Tristan Turlington, and there are runners on second and third. Just landed in play by about 6 inches.
Yeah, just out of her reach. And she tries to recollect it herself too, which I think if she let Lily Owens, who was right there, it may not have turned into an extra base hit, maybe only a single if Lily Owens can hold the runner up at first base. But hard to know in that situation. Your reaction is just to scoop the ball up as quick as you can if you're Turlington.
Trouble brewing for BYU's defense again. Here's Reagan Bartholomew. And trouble delivers. A 2 RBI double for Reagan Bartholomew, who is now 3 for 3. She's got 3 RBIs now, including the first inning home run. And just drove in Jessie Clemens and Tatum Johnson. It's 12, make it 11-7 Iowa State, threatening for 12 runs with Bartholomew on second.
And you wonder if BYU wishes they maybe hadn't have thrown to Bartholomew in that situation with 2 runners in scoring position. They can't take those runs back.
Well, short stint for Haley Schuler, who gives up a single and 2 doubles. And here comes Gianna Mates, today's starter, back into the circle.
And Gianna Mates gave up that home run in the first inning, but otherwise had a great first inning. And then Ilovea Brittingham gets hurt at the beginning of the second inning, her catcher, and she kind of just struggled after that. But hopefully now, after taking a seat for a minute and gets to re-warm up and just not having the shock and awe of her catcher all of a sudden go out of the game, she'll be able to come in and slow down Iowa State for BYU.
She went an inning and a third to open things up, 46 pitches, gave up 4 runs, all of them earned. Had the 3 consecutive walks that really set BYU back in the second inning, and the 1 strikeout. A strikeout opened up the game. Well, Schuler frustrated for the moment, but she's been a dynamo offensively for BYU, has 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. Got BYU back within striking distance coming into the 5th inning at 9-7, but surrenders 2. And now again, BYU trailing by 4. 11 runs on 12 hits for Iowa State. BYU countering with 7 runs on 9 hits. The Cyclones are 12 for 21 batting overall as a team. That's a .571 batting average today. They're 7 for 13 combined with runners in scoring position. Bartholomew is the runner in scoring position now. Caden Shepard facing Gianna Mates, who is back into the game. And that is absolutely blasted. 13-7. First pitch from Mates is taken over the right field fence. #12th home run of the season for Iowa State and Caden Shepard. And that is a new record for home runs in a season for the Cyclones, with 63 so far.
It's amazing that they've already hit 3 home runs from 3 different players in today's game. Iowa State's offense is just rolling.
2 hops to Turlington, has a long throw. Oh, Yuda Woolley stretching, got her foot on the bag, and a nice play there to get Carly Ford at first. Taylor in the last inning and a half, 13 combined runs.
Wow. Doesn't feel like there's a lot of defense in today's game. It's all offense.
Sydney Malott. High pop fly. Lexi Bennett is called off by Lily Owens, coming up from left field to make the catch for the second out. Well, you just wonder if BYU has another big inning to try and rally back.
Yeah, we were hoping for that 10 number for BYU, but now they're going to have to at least score 13 runs. That's 6 more runs to tack on, but I've seen crazier from BYU over the years.
Tiana Poole is the batter. Base is empty. They were cleared by Caden Shepard. Strike 1 from Mates to Poole. It's 1-1. High for ball 2. Two and 1. Rise ball again high. It's 3 balls and a strike. Change up in there for a strike. Mares was so unbelievably effective with that change up in the sweep of Houston. Now trying to get out of the inning. And it looks like she will. Acosta over to Udall Woolley, and they throw out Poole. Iowa State responds with another crooked number. 4 runs in the top of the 5th, highlighted by the 12th home run of the season from Cadence Shepard. We're back after this. Back to Miller Park. If you wanted offense, you're in the right place. Not a ton of defense. Iowa State with the majority of that offense in today's game between the Cyclones and Cougars of BYU. They lead 13-7. And Iowa State trying to break a deadlock, at least for the day, between Arizona State, the Cyclones, and BYU, who are all 5-10 in the Big 12 standings, tied for 8th. It's worth noting that the 8th place figure would deliver the last spot in the approaching conference tournament. You just want to be in the top 8 right now. Houston a couple of games out at 3-12, so the Cougars in Texas, they got a tough hill to climb. BYU worked their way back into that conference tournament conversation by sweeping Houston. And Gordon Eakin has said, look, our goal realistically is to just figure out a way to win home series. Because BYU will be at home, or at least in the Beehive State, to close out the rest of the season. Townsend turns on a pitch. If it's fair, it's gone. And it is off the foul pole. Bree Townsend, the latest to add a stat in the home run category. Her 5th of the season. And it's 13-8.
Such a crazy game it has been, but Bree Townsend turned on that inside pitch. I mean, she didn't just hit the foul pole, it was like the top part of the foul pole. So impressive. Absolutely demolished that ball.
That's 5 combined home runs in today's game. Told you, if you wanted offense, please stay with us. 13-8, still a long way to go for BYU. Trailing on their home field against an Iowa State offense that is quite literally making history. The Cyclones just hit their 63rd combined home run of the season, which is a team record for an individual season, including the 3 today. 1 from Reagan Bartholomew, 1 from Carly Ford, and the last from Cadence Shepard. So your 3, 4, 5 batters for Iowa State have all gone yard. But BYU trying to scrap back once again in the bottom of the 5th, trailing 13-8. Tristan Turlington takes ball 2 from Ava Mullen. High for ball 3. And Turlington draws a walk.
And Iowa State definitely still has a healthy lead on BYU right now with 5, leading them by 5 runs. But you wonder if there's, I can see balls out there in the bullpen for Iowa State. There's definitely activity out there happening because Iowa State knows that BYU can hit the ball, and they're probably going to continue to do so if it keeps going like it's gone for both sides. And I believe that's Skirman out there, warming up again.
So Lauren Skirman, the starter for Iowa State, getting warm. Mullen delivers to Bennett, fouled off for strike 1. Bennett is 2 for 2. Singled on a sharp slap hit into left field in the 2nd inning and had an infield single in the 4th. Two balls and a strike.
And it feels like forever ago when Lexi Bennett was up to bat her very first time and hits that hard swinging bunt that we were in that long official review over if it hit her foot. That almost feels like days ago that happened.
I mean, the numbers in this game, if you look at the scoreboard, are just absurd. There have only been 2 half innings where there have been no runs scored. Iowa State got blanked in the 3rd, and BYU got blanked in the 2nd. Other than that, there have been runs from both teams. And a throw down to first. Ooh, good snap throw from Carly Ford. But Turlington is back just in the nick of time.
And that really was a bang-bang play. I mean, Turlington got her hand there. I think if the ball is like caught cleanly
and that is slapped fair. What a day for Lexi Bennett.
Yeah, she's doing awesome.
She's 3 for 3 with her 3rd single as Turlington gets over to 2nd. And to your point, Taylor, you're finishing that thought it's almost a scenario where Turlington is out and BYU doesn't have a runner in scoring position now because of that great throwdown from Ford.
And I think that's going to spark the pitching change for Iowa State.
It has just been repeat after repeat of these teams putting multiple runners on base with no outs.
And what is that, 4 different pitching changes on both sides?
And this now...
They switch 3 times and then bring back their starters.
Yes. So
wow.
An 8th combined pitching change to go along with the wild offensive stats in this game. Lauren Skirman is back in. She threw 61 pitches, surrendered 3 runs in 3 innings. All 3 were earned. Walked 2, didn't strike out anybody from BYU. And will now face Danica Acosta and the top of the BYU order with runners on 1st and 2nd and no outs. And protecting a 5-run lead. How many runs will it take to win this game?
Yeah, absolutely. Like a lot of times in games, it's like around 4. Like if you can score 4 runs, you're setting yourself up pretty good. But man, whenever BYU was playing, There has been a lot of runs scored, particularly in the last few weeks.
BYU on a 4-game win streak after the sweep of Houston and then beat Utah Tech in an out-of-conference in-state game on Tuesday. This is game 6 of 15 straight in the Beehive State for BYU to close out the regular season. Their last road trip is in Salt Lake City for a 3-game series at Utah. And other than that, BYU will face Iowa State in 3 here. Game 1 obviously today of that series. And then a series with Arizona State in Big 12 play still looming on the horizon. And with the way the standings are shaping up, that Arizona State situation with BYU could be very interesting in determining the 8 that get in to the Big 12 tournament.
It's crazy. There's so many teams that are just neck and neck right now in the conference. It's really just going to be a battle to see who ends up making it to the tournament.
Well, Utah holds the 7 spot at 5 wins, 9 losses, and 1 tie. It's the 1 tie that has given Utah the advantage over Iowa State, BYU, and Arizona State, who are all 5 and 10. 2-2 to Danica Acosta. Full count after she takes ball 3.
And another big hole over there in the 5-6 hole. It's interesting to me how up the middle Iowa shortstop Bartholomew plays. It just leaves a big opening, especially with a runner in scoring position for BYU to hit the ball.
Acosta pops up out of play into the left field bleachers, and we'll have another full count pitch on the way from Skierman to Acosta. Turlington on second, Bennett on first. 3-2, Acosta, and this could be a double play. It is. It is caught by Malott, and she steps on second base, then collides with Turlington. So a fortunate pop fly situation for Iowa State with where that ball was caught and then being able to take 1 step onto second base to double up Turlington.
And I was just talking about Bartholomew and how close she plays to second base, but also over there at second, Shepard plays really close. I don't think that necessarily goes down like that if they weren't in the positions they were on defense. It's one of those situations where they're standing ended up working out for Iowa State.
Wow, big turn of events there. BYU with no outs and runners on first and second. Now 2 down, and Lily Owens with Lexi Bennett on first, and a couple of check swings, and that's somehow going to grant Lily Owens an infield single. The spin on that ball was so significant that Skierman ran over, and the ball just kind of stuck and went the opposite direction.
Yeah, I think because she hit it right off the neck of her bat, that combined with the spin of the ball, it hits the ground, and you could, like you said, Skierman like overruns it a little bit, tries to pick it up with her bare hand, and just doesn't get a good grab on it. BYU staying alive.
Well, now it's Haley Schuler with 2 on. Schuler has hit 2 home runs today. Schuler homered off Skierman in the 3rd and off of Jaden Ralston in the 4th.
And it doesn't surprise me to see Skierman go down 2-0 against Haley Schuler. She's remembering that home run and doesn't want to give up another one. But alternatively, is a nice hitter's count for Haley Schuler to work through now.
Fooled on that rise ball on a 2-0 pitch, so it's strike 1 to Schuler. Schuler takes strike 2. Twos across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners on first and second. And Schuler lays off a good pitch from Skierman.
Yeah, that pitch was as close as it can get. Good eye by Haley Schuler. If you're Skierman, that is a great spot to throw a pitch in a 2-2 count.
Full count, huge pitch. And Schuler remains perfect on her day as she draws a 2-out walk to load the bases. Maddie Udall-Woolley is the batter. She was our impact spotlight player for BYU as the broadcast began because she's hit 3 home runs in the last week. And takes the changeup strike from Skierman. It's 0-1.
Tough if you're Iowa State. You have Haley Schuler, who's a hot bat that you end up just walking onto the bases. You had a base open, but then Maddie Udall-Woolley, who is hot herself right now, had a nice hit her last at bat.
And she's got another hit. That'll drive in 2 runs for BYU. It's 13-10, and BYU has responded with 3 in the bottom of the 5th. This is unbelievable.
And Bartholomew kind of shakes her head a little bit. That's the second ball this game. There's been a line drive hit at her that has just glanced off of her glove. She's just right there for those, and they could make differences in today's game, but goes BYU's way.
Miranda Mansfield is the batter now. Another slap hitter from the left side. 13-10. 23 combined runs, 25 combined hits. And we're not through the 5th inning. Lined off for a foul ball from Mansfield. So Iowa State and Lauren Skierman a strike away from taking a 3-run lead to the 6th. But the 4th and 5th innings have been absolutely bonkers. 9 runs in those 2 innings for Iowa State, now 7 for BYU in the same 2 frames.
It is just crazy how this game is going. I cannot even believe it.
Mansfield strikes out. So Skierman does give up the big hit to allow BYU to climb back within 3 runs, but Iowa State maintains the lead. 13-10. We're off to the 6th inning. What a start to this series between Iowa State and BYU. The offense is fantastic. 6 total home runs, 3 for each side. Iowa State leading 13-10. 25 total hits between the two teams. The Cyclones are 13 of 25 as a team hitting overall. BYU 12 of 25. It's the Cyclones' ability to hit extra base hits that really has been the difference, Taylor. They have 7 extra base hits, BYU with 3. And there really is the slight difference that has given Jamie Pinkerton the advantage for now. No lead is safe. And that is the phrase of the last week and a half in Provo, Utah for BYU against Houston. Although BYU did find a way to sweep Houston, they scored 10+ runs in all 3 of those games. And now have scored 10 here against Iowa State, but have surrendered 13 against the Cyclone squad that, if you're just joining us, is looking for their first ever win in Provo. They're 0 for 6, coming into their 7th opportunity at Gail Miller Field here today, but in position to get that win.
And Coach Pinkerton attributed some of the hitting to their system, Iowa State's system that they have in place for hitting. But he also talked about that he has a really strong upperclassmen team. 7 of the 10 starters for today's game for Iowa State are upperclassmen. They just really have a lot of experience all around in their lineup.
Three 3-0 from Mares, and there's a strike. Isabel Nosen was ready to trot down to first base, thought that was ball 4, but it is a strike, according to Mike Bartling behind home plate. 3-1, and there is ball 4. Boy, and that is, again, just a very frustrating leadoff walk for Gianna Mares against Iowa State's worst batter in the lineup. Who was a .095 average coming into the day, and now safely on at first. Here's McKenna Andrews swinging at the first pitch she sees from Mares, fouled back. Andrews .0 for 1 in her 3 plate appearances. Was hit by a pitch in the 4th. Had an RBI on a sacrifice attempt in the 2nd inning. And trying to bunt that down, but it goes foul for strike 2.
And you wonder if that leadoff walk could be attributed a little bit to just some long innings. Like Gianna Mares, I wonder if she went and warmed up again before she had to come back out, because BYU put up 3 runs in the last inning, and it takes some serious time to do that. And maybe just a little bit cold as she's coming off of her break from the mound.
The 1-2 popped up. Acosta floats to her left into shallow right field and makes the catch back from second base for the first out here in the top of the 6th. So top of the order once again for Iowa State, and the first 5 batters for the Cyclones have been absolutely lights out against BYU pitching. Clemens swings and misses at strike 1. She's 3 for 4. 3 singles in the 2nd, 4th, and 5th innings. Nosen is on second. Rise ball misses from Mares. It's 1-1. Big cut from Andrews. Fouled back off the netting for strike 2. Correction, Clemens. The 1-2. And again fouled off. Mares will collect it herself. Another 1-2. Hit weakly to second. Acosta gathers and throws out Clemens at first. There are 2 down. How about this for some drama? Are we going to have our third half inning with no runs?
That would be crazy. Especially starting off this inning with a walk. I mean, it didn't seem like it was going to go that way, but 2 great outs pitched up by Gianna Mares and good defense from BYU. We just may see that happen.
Tatum Johnson swings and misses for strike 1. This part of the lineup would suggest we are not going to have that scenario. But why not build the drama? The 0-1. Strike 2. And Johnson seemingly fooled a bit against Gianna Mares. This is the Gianna Mares that BYU saw against Houston. 0-2. Popped up, and that's going to fade out of play.
And Gianna Mares is really at her best when she gets in those 0-2 counts. If she can throw strikes early and get ahead of batters, she has a lot more options to throw against these hitters and work those corners a little bit more. And so setting herself up for a good opportunity right now.
Another 0-2. High and away for ball 1. Mares to Johnson, who fights that one off, will stay at a ball and 2 strikes with Nosen on third. Iowa State in front by 3. The delivery, pulled, just foul.
Just foul. That was very close. Would have been an easy triple for Johnson if that lands fair.
This feels like a prime time knowing Mares and her pitch selection for a changeup.
Very well could be. I'm calling curve.
Okay. The 1-2 delivery. Ooh, was it a curve?
Curve arrives, one of the 2.
A strikeout. And BYU keeps the Cyclones at bay in the top of the 6th. Tavita, Townsend, and Turlington will try and cut into a 3-run deficit when we return to Miller Park. we have made it to the bottom of the 6th inning. And BYU, for just the 2nd time in those 6 innings, has held Iowa State scoreless in an inning on that rise ball spinner from Gianna Matez to take care of Tatum Johnson. So BYU trailing by 3 in the bottom of the 6th will send Rita Tavita, freshman phenom, to the plate to lead things off against Lauren Skierman. Tavita lined foul as that rolls into left field.
And after zeroing Iowa State's offense last inning, they gave up 9 runs combined in the just 2 innings before that. This is a good opportunity for BYU to take the momentum from shutting down Iowa State at the top of this inning and go after that 3 runs that they need to at least tie this one up. Be big for BYU if they can come up with some more offense right here, right now.
Ball and 2 strikes from Skierman to Tavita. And Tavita reaches for that to stay alive.
Definitely in a pitcher's count right now. Rita Tavita battling that outside pitch off, doing her best to stay alive.
Oh, and a strikeout for Skierman. She delivers her own rise ball to take care of Tavita.
Such a good spot by Skierman. Those rise balls right to your shoulder, they look so good if you're the hitter, but they're just a little too high to reach.
That's hit well between the gap at first and second. Bree Townsend has found a nice little offensive groove late in this game. She hit her 5th home run of the season in her last at bat. And now is on at first, bringing Tristan Turlington to the plate. Turlington to Hopper. Long throw, and she's gonna beat it. As Bartholomew was way deep from her shortstop position, really into shallow left field.
And that ball was just bouncing enough and took her far on her backhand. There's just no way Bartholomew was gonna be able to throw out Tristan Turlington. Doesn't feel like a hit like that should necessarily go for a single, but Tristan Turlington made it work for her.
Townsend on second, Turlington at first, 1 out, and the tying run coming to the plate in Lexi Bennett. Bennett, foul tip into the dirt and behind home plate for strike 1. Bennett. Boy, for a moment, I thought Skierman would for sure have the lead runner at third, but she didn't like what she saw there, Taylor, and opted to get the speedy Bennett at first.
Which is interesting because I totally thought she had to play at third, so I wonder what she saw that changed her mind. I mean, she got the sure out over there at first base, but almost took a second too long with someone like Lexi Bennett, who has tons of speed.
2 outs, top of the order again for BYU. It's Danica Acosta. Runners on second and third. So yeah, you don't get the lead runner. Now you have 2 in scoring position. And your leadoff batter at the plate for BYU. The 0-1. Outside for ball 1. The 1-1. And there is strike 2. Skierman got a huge strikeout to begin against Rita Tavita. Then surrendered hits to Townsend and Turlington before getting Lexi Bennett at first base. Acosta fights off that pitch. It's 1-2. Well, these at-bats get a little more pressure packed given the situation and the late inning opportunity for BYU.
And odds-wise, this is BYU's best chance for someone up to bat to get a hit. Danica Acosta's leading BYU in batting average, so she's been the most consistent.
Acosta is 1 for 3 today, .345 batting average that you're referencing, Taylor. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners on second and third. It's a 3-run game in the bottom of the 6th. Then Acosta hits a line drive into her own dugout. I don't think anyone took friendly fire. I see smiles over there, so all good.
Yep, they do not need any more injuries today.
Gordon Eakin asked for his team to compete. They certainly have done that again and again and again, responding to just an incredible onslaught of offense from Iowa State. Acosta, Bartholomew makes the play. And how about that? No runs for either side in the 6th inning. First time it's happened in today's game. We'll go to the 7th with Iowa State in front by 3. The 7th and final inning. We'll see. Iowa State leading 13-10 in a game that has featured 23 combined runs, 27 combined hits, 15 combined left on base, 8 pitching changes, all offense, little defense, plenty of highlights as you look at Iowa State's box score. And Reagan Bartholomew, perfect. To nobody's surprise, she is a spectacular player, but BYU and Gianna Mates record the out as Acosta was fading back from second base to make the catch in shallow right center field, and Bartholomew is retired for the first time today.
So big for BYU, and then if they can just get through these next 2 Iowa State hitters, I mean, the bottom half of Iowa State's lineup hasn't done a whole lot, so really big out right there for Gianna Mates and BYU.
Well, of note, Shepard did hit a home run on Gianna Matez's first pitch of the second go-around of Matez being in the circle. It was her 12th of the season, 63rd as a team for Iowa State, a record in a single season for combined home runs as a team. The 1-0. And Shepard skies it in the infield, and Maddie Udall-Woolley makes the catch just inside the pitcher's circle. There are 2 outs. So Matez has gotten 2 pop-outs in back-to-back at-bats from Bartholomew and Shepard, the 3-4 hitters for Iowa State.
And that ball went up, and immediately Gianna Matez was out of there. She was not going to be the one to catch that ball. And it's funny because it came back down right about where she was standing. But smartly, it's better for BYU infielders to take the ball.
Well, it's not going to be a clean inning because Carly Ford has gone deep for the second time in her game. 14-10, 7th home run in today's game. 4 from Iowa State, 3 from BYU, and history adds another homer for the Cyclones as Ford is welcomed home in unique fashion by her team.
Iowa State said, no way, we're not getting 0 2 innings in a row. I mean, that ball was mashed, like we've seen them be mashed all day in the home run category. And that was the last hitter Gianna Matez needed to get through before she hits kind of a lull in the Iowa State lineup. Too bad for BYU after getting those quick 2 outs to start off this inning.
8 extra base hits now for Iowa State. Again, 4 of those home runs. 2 from Carly Ford, who now has 8 on her season. It is Sydney Malott facing Matez now. A ball and no strikes, 2 down, bases empty. And Iowa State has pushed the lead to 4. Off speed delivery and strike from Matez. Two and 1 now. And do we have another? No, that one stays in the park. Well, the wind's blowing that direction. That would have been another home run for Iowa State. They'll have to settle for a 4-run lead going to the bottom of the 7th. Work to do for BYU with Owen Schuler and Udall-Woolley 2 up. (14-10) as we move into the bottom of the 7th. 3 hours of game time. Well, 2 hours and 58 minutes, I should say.
I didn't question the 3 hours.
It has been lengthy. Both teams have 14 hits Iowa State has 8 extra base hits to BYU's 3. Lily Owens deep to center field. That catch is made in center by Tatum Johnson. Well, again, that's a case of a well-hit ball, but going into the wind. And Johnson makes the catch for a long first out. Now, that got over the fence. And all bets are off on BYU being able to spin something here and sneak out of here with an improbable victory, but that is a very important first out for Lauren Skierman. Schuler, 2 for 3, has hit 2 of BYU's home runs today. A ball and a strike. And that's fouled away to the right side. Strike 2. Game 2 of the series set for 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain tomorrow night under the Friday night lights of Miller Park. And Game 3 a Saturday afternoon to close out the weekend set. 1-2 to Schuler, inside, ball 2.
BYU just has 2 more outs to work with as they're trying to put up 4 runs right now against Iowa State.
Schuler has worked it to a full count.
And Schuler, being a pitcher herself, I feel like has a really good eye when she's up there at the plate, knows the strike zone well.
Schuler ahead of that one. Keeps it at a full count. And did that hit Elo Brittingham? Elo Brittingham had a dislocated shoulder early in the game, but it's good to see her smiling and okay. Her shoulder's not in ice anymore.
And they're like, okay, you cannot sit right here.
But yeah, you've had enough.
Yep.
Go behind the protective netting in the dugout. 3-2 to Schuler. Hard hit ground ball, second base, Shepard over to Malott. And there are 2 down. Iowa State 1 out away from a series opening win. And their first ever win at Gail Miller Field in 7 tries.
And another hard hit BYU ball. I mean, Haley Schuler and Lily Owens both put good swings on their pitches when they had the opportunity, but just went right to Iowa State defenders.
Maddie Udall-Woolley is the batter for BYU. 1 for 4 on her day. Singled in the 4th. Now trying to extend this game at least one more batter. And Udall-Woolley hits a high fly ball left center field. And another catch at the wall to rob a home run. It's the second one of the game for Tatum Johnson. She robbed a grand slam early against Elo Brittingham and a home run robbery to seal Iowa State's first ever win in Provo.
And what are the odds of that, to not have 1 home run robbed, but 2 by the same girl out there just right at that center field fence line? I mean, have yourself a day if you're Johnson.
Tatum Johnson. Unbelievable. Or is it believable based on how this game went today?
Yeah. It definitely was a crazy one. And with the cooler temperatures, I mean, not that many fans here to watch, and it was really a fun one. I mean, 24 runs scored today, all offense.
Very strange game as Iowa State gets the big win. Tatum Johnson is 6 feet tall, and she used every bit of that 6-foot frame to rob not 1, but 2 home runs by BYU today. Iowa State victorious by a final of 14-10. What a matinee on this Thursday. Highlights all around. For Taylor Williams and our entire outstanding crew, I am Spencer Linton saying goodbye from Provo, Utah and Miller Park. This has been a presentation of ESPN.